So you're deep in a project, you hit a major wall, and you realize you need to bring in some outside help. It can feel like a huge, high-stakes moment, right? Well, today, we're going to demystify that whole thing. We're going to turn the complicated task of hiring an expert into a super clear, structured process. I mean, this is a classic situation. You've got a gap, you need a specific skill, but your team is already running at 100%. Picking the right partner isn't just a lucky guess. It's a massive decision that can literally make or break your project. So how do you nail it every single time? All right, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off by looking at the challenge itself. Then we'll dive into what conduct procurements actually means. We'll break it down into 3 simple steps, check out the toolkit you'll need, and finally, show you why having this process is such a game changer. Okay, let's give this whole thing its proper name. In the world of project management, this process is officially called conduct procurements. You can just think of it as the official playbook for bringing outside talent onto your team the right way. You know, the key thing to get here is that we're moving from planning to doing. This is where the rubber meets the road. The conduct procurements phase is all about action. You're out there getting responses, you're picking your partner, and you're signing that contract. And this slide right here shows you exactly where it fits into the big picture of project management. See? It's under procurement management, and it's a key part of the executing phase. It's all about action, about getting things done and pushing the project forward. Okay, so we know what it is and where it fits. But how does it actually work? Well, it really just boils down to 3 straightforward steps. Seriously, it's this simple. First, you get the proposals in from potential sellers. Second, you evaluate them and pick the best one. And third, you make it official and award the contract. Now, it sounds easy, but as you're about to see, the real magic and all the success is in the details. Now, to get those 3 steps right, especially the first 2, you need the right tools. And don't think of this as a bunch of boring paperwork. This is your essential toolkit for making a smart, fair, and totally defensible decision. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? You've got a stack of proposals on your desk. How do you make sure you're picking based on merit, not just a gut feeling or some hidden bias? How do you keep it fair and square? Well, the secret to a fair selection isn't just in how you judge the proposals. It's all about the prep work you do before you even get them. The foundation for a great decision is laid way back in the planning phase with a few key documents. It all starts right here with your make or buy decisions. This is about getting crystal clear on what you're even looking for. Before you can ask anyone for help, you have to know exactly what work you're putting out there. This document basically defines your starting line. Next up, and just as important, is the Procurement Statement of Work, or SOW. This lays out the entire scope of the job for your potential partners. Look, a fuzzy SOW gets you fuzzy proposals, and that leads to scope creep and budget problems down the line. A great SOW means everyone is bidding on the exact same thing. So these are the actual documents you'll use to get those responses. A request for information, or RFI, helps you figure out who's even capable of doing the work. Then the request for proposal, the RFP, is when you ask that shortlist for their detailed plan to get it done. And this might just be the most important tool in the whole toolkit. The source selection criteria is your scorecard. You create it before you see a single proposal. It lays out exactly what you're judging on: price, experience, their technical plan, and it guarantees that everyone is measured by the exact same ruler. It's how you take bias out of the equation. So we've seen the what, the how, and the tools you need. Let's wrap this up by talking about the why. I mean, why go through all this trouble? Why does having a structured process matter so much? Honestly, the difference is night and day. If you don't have a process, you're opening the door to favoritism, to massive confusion, and, let's be honest, to bad project outcomes. But with a process, you get guaranteed fairness, you get total clarity for everyone involved, and you just get plain better results. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this one idea. The whole point is to evaluate all the sellers with the same criteria because this maintains fairness. It's not about red tape. It's the very foundation of doing things in a professional, ethical, and successful way. So now that you've got this framework, think about your own projects. What's that one big procurement headache or hiring challenge that this structured approach could totally solve for you? How could you use this to make a real difference next time around?